going to play hard. We're going to give ourselves a fighting chance, and we let the game take care of itself.
We know who we are. We're not going to let everybody else tell us what we're not.
First ever Eastern Conference Final as we know them for Atlanta, about an hour away on TNT. The Cavs and the Hawks get it going right here in the 404. And we welcome in from Phillips, calling tonight's Game 1 and doing his Sager homage, I see, the Hall of Famer, Reggie Miller. You look good, Reg. You look good.
Now, Coach, I got to tell you this, and Vince and 3D, when can we ever get away with wearing coral, a white tie, a black and white gingham, and white pants to work? Come on now.
Love it.
Come on now.
You're making it work, though. You're pulling it all together,
When can we
Reggie.
ever get away with this at Turner?
It shows you how
This is beautiful. Thank you, Sage.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Well, I talked about team with the Atlanta Hawks. We all do. But let's single out one guy, Kyle Korver, who was under 30% beyond the arc in the Washington series. Reggie, I'm coming to you as the grandmaster of the three-point shot. How does he get going? What does he have to do?
Well, right now, I think it's all up here for Kyle Korver. Now, this is the guy that shot 49% from downtown during the regular season. He's one of the best shooters in the game. But Bradley Beal was in his pocket. He was in his jersey. And I think at the other end, Bradley Beal made him work defensively. And I think that tired Kyle out. So if you're Korver, you've got to be more active. We know they're going to run a lot of sets. There's a lot of motion offense to this Hawks, and you've got to do yourself a better job of running coast to coast from 3 to 3. And once you see 1 or 2 go down as a shooter, you start to get that confidence back, because I don't believe the Cavs have a player like Bradley Beal who's not only going to get you 25 or 30 at the offensive end, but they're a pretty good defender at the other end. Shumpert is good defensively, and J.R. Smith can get it going offensively, but he's not a great defender. Kyle Korver has to be more active and more busy in transition to be effective.
Reggie, and you were one of the best moving without the ball and using screens, and you wore your defender out. What advice would you give Korver now in terms of moving without the ball and wearing his defender out and using the screens to come off to get open?
Make it a track meet. And that's one thing that I felt every time I entered a ball game, that I was in better shape than any other two guard. So if you can make it a track meet, don't allow the defenders to hold, to clinch, to grab on, knock hands off, and stay in constant motion. You put me, as our head coach with the Pacers, you always put me in motion, whereas the defenders could not put their hands on me. So you can continue to run around, stay in motion, and it's pretty good to run off Al Horford. It's a pretty big body to come off and get some space out of. So if you can, a lot of times, come on those down screens off Horford, it's pretty safe you're going to get some clean looks at the basket.
And Reggie, try to help the people at home. Obviously, you never really went through this because you were the number one option every team you played on. But sometimes people don't understand where Kyle Korver may go 3 or 4, sometimes 5 possessions and not get a shot because the offense is not really geared for him. Can you explain to people that's a hard thing to do versus you and myself? We would get shots as they came because plays were called for us, where a lot of times Kyle does not get plays called for him.
You got to understand that's another reason why he shot such a high percentage. But you guys both know, come playoff time, everything is highlighted. So when you go from 49 down to shooting under 30% from your bread and butter, remember, during the regular season, 75% of his shots came from behind the arc. During the playoffs, that has jumped up to 85% of his shots. So he's pressing. There's so much pressure. Everyone's like, what is wrong with Kyle Korver? Relax. Shooter shoot, as you know, 3D. It's all about confidence, and once he sees 1, 2, maybe 3 go down, it'll all come back.
Reg, can you talk about the relationship that Korver has with the fans here with the Hawks in the building? When he makes 2 or 3 three-point shots, the fans and the crowd goes crazy. How does that affect the opposing team? Because when you used to do it, you would make 1 or 2 shots and the whole building would go crazy. Jalen Rose would make 2 or 3 shots and everybody would be quiet. But when you made 2, the other coach was calling timeout, the building was going crazy. Explain that to the fans. How does that work?
And 3D, you know this as well. When you're a great shooter and you're playing either at home or on the road, and you see the ball coming to you and you hear the gasp in the air like, oh, it's finally going to happen, and you get the ball and you're able to knock down one of those big shots, look, it's a home run. You know, a three-pointer is the equivalent of a home run in our game for baseball. So, you know, he is one of the elite shooters in our game and has been for a long time. And I think the fans here, they respect the hard work he puts in, being able to run almost a marathon throughout a ball game. So when he's able to catch the ball and be successful, I think the praise he's getting and the applause, they're showing that. They're showing their love to Kyle Korver. But he's got to be active and he's got to be more in motion versus Cleveland if they're going to have a shot. To me, that's one of the huge keys in this series. Not only they make 10 threes a game, they're going to have to make their threes, but they're going to have to shoot a high percentage, 40% or better, if they want to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers.
We have to let you go now. Appreciate the time from the Hall of Famer Reggie Boca.
Okay.
Miller.
Thank you, Sags. Suit up for Sags. Look,
we love the
white
look.
pants, coral, a white tie, black and white gingham. Come on, man.
Mate, you're pulling it off.
Only you can do it,
Only
Reggie.
you can do it.
I
You look
look
like
good.
Huggy Bear.
I look good.
You do. Have a great call. Thank you so much
Thank
for the
you.
time. Talk to you later.